Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Homeland Security. George Soros and his rent-a-mobs are coming soon to a town near you. This time it's called the Democracy Spring. Isn't that a nice little
Yeah, it's a little play on the Arab Spring, the Democracy
Meanwhile, the
Spring.
administration is ushering in thousands of Middle Eastern refugees while we're watching the circus. There's also a plan underway to release over 1 million prisoners onto the streets of America. Thank you, leftists. Democracy Spring. If you want to find out more about it, just go to democracyspring.org. It'll show you what's going on and what they plan. I mean, this is a repeat of what we've seen before. We're already seeing it play out on the streets of America at Trump rallies. The thing is now they've got someone they can blame and scapegoat, Donald Trump. What do you make of this? We've seen this before.
You know, I have seen the degradation of any kind of discipline in this country in the last 8 years. I mean, would you believe 10 years ago there would be such a thing as sanctuary cities? Sanctuary cities.
Well, that goes back longer than 10 years, but you're right, it's come to the forefront.
Yeah, but it's coming to the forefront. The very fact that big chunks of your country, you can find a haven there and nobody can do anything to you. That means within the country. That isn't like coming over the border. This is now...
enclaves within the United States.
Enclaves within the United States, and the United States can't do anything about it.
No, they can. They won't.
Well, what's the difference? I mean, they won't. They can't. Under the government we have today, they won't. So this way, yes, of course they can. They can do it overnight. If we had a strong, iron-fisted guy in the White House, that would be gone in 2 minutes.
So your hometown, Chicago, just saw some recent spats going on. Phoenix, Arizona, they're blocking the highways. Could you imagine if you block the highway going to a Planned Parenthood clinic, or if you stop people from going into the welfare office? I mean, these people will be prosecuted and thrown in jail. But now they're called just peaceful dissenters.
People that are committed to the liberal philosophy and psychology are today's fascists.
Absolutely.
They can do whatever they want, and nobody has the guts to stand up to them.
Isn't it interesting that these are the same people that used to say, I may not agree with what you say, but I would stand up to defend your right to say it. Now, they don't even want you to have free... You can't even speak if you don't agree
and the worst
with
thing
the liberal
is,
doctrine.
What makes me sick is when I see the kind of education that's going on, not only in our colleges, but all the way at the grade school level. They are... I'm telling you, I'll bring back I told my wife this morning, I said, I got less propaganda in the 5 years that I was in Nazi Germany. There was less propaganda shoveled out in my classes than I see being shoveled out in American schools today.
Yeah. So when the media tries to blame Donald Trump supporters for what's going on at these events, you got MoveOn.org, SDS, Code Pink, Occupy Wall Street, Black Lives Matter, all these George Soros funded groups, the same groups, same as the Arab Spring, same kind of idea, trying to force people to go to listen to their point of view or to vote the way they want you to vote. You're right, it's fascism. Liberal fascism.
Know, this guy Soros, we've talked about him many times. We're not going to waste a lot of time today. But his father called the shots on all the rich Jews in Hungary so that he could save his own skin. And they took several thousand of them and killed them on the spot and threw them into the river Danube. So there was so much blood flowing that the Danube actually turned red for a couple of days. And this is the kind of guy that came over here, and he's playing the same dirty game here. And of course, you know what he did to monies in Mexico, the London, where they practically broke the back of the British pound. And this guy keeps getting away with it.
The French called him a parasite.
No kidding.
He actually was sued for a couple $100 million, which is not much when you're a multi-billionaire. But yeah, this has been going on for quite a long time.
I would say he may be one of the worst malefactors in the world today. And what you're telling me now, and I know it's happening, is just another chapter in his dirty book.
Does this show you the fear that they have for Donald Trump? Or is this just another elect any Democrat at any cost, stop any Republican by calling them Hitler and fascists and
Well,
names
I look at it two ways. I see that for the first time, a guy that is a conservative, or at least has enough conservative positions to make me realize he's against this liberal instability. He sometimes goes a little too far and makes himself look ridiculous, in my opinion. I wish he would stay. I think he's starting to now. He's got some very good points. He's come up with some good ideas. He's finally starting to do that. But all these insults and calling his competition off, like
Lion Ted, Little Marco.
Yeah, Little Marco.
See,
this is what I learned in business. You learn a lot in business, but you know what I learned? First, you got to sell yourself. Secondly, you got to sell your product. And once you get the order, get the hell out of here and shut your mouth and go away.
Just close the deal.
That's
Sign the paperwork and move on.
You got it.
While we're watching this circus unfold, which is the only thing the media will pay attention to, the administration is quietly bringing in thousands of refugees from Cuba, from the Middle East, from Latin America,
That's right.
all into the country, and it's happening right under our nose. I think we're going to see some real problems stirred up over the next 6 months.
Well, they're trying to do that
election.
to get people to vote for them so that they can have more numbers. They're also being very much aware that one thing that Trump has accomplished dramatically, and I give him a lot of credit for it, he's got a lot of independents voting, he's got a lot of people that never voted before, and he's got about 20% of the Democrats voting his way. So they are furious about that. I mean, that's one of the ways they hate him because of the fact he's playing their game.
We're also talking about the left's proposal to basically empty the prisons of America back onto the streets of America. At least over 1 million, what they'd like to say are low-level criminals. But these could be of any background.
They're trying to change the criminal basis for jailing. Change and say, well, what do you call it? It's a misdemeanor. It's not a federal offense or it's
felony
or a felony and so on. Exactly. Yeah, that's happening very much so, and most people aren't even aware of that.
And then you take on top of that the illegals that are here that are committing crimes. I'm not saying all of them are. Of course they're not, but there are some, and you have to admit that as well. If you want to deny it on one side, you've got to be honest on the other side.
The irony of this whole immigration thing is you try to break in to Mexico from Guatemala, they'll shoot you trying to come over the border, and they don't. But if they say, well, they're going to the United States, they find a way to get there, whether it's selling drugs or whatever it is. So the thing is, we're the one nation in the world that has opened up its borders and looked the other way as people came in.
And I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
Not until this guy's out of office and we get a good man in the White House.
But do you really think that the right person in the White House even has the power anymore to stop some of this stuff?
Yeah, I think it would take the only guy that could do it would be Trump. And you know why I think so? I think he's kind of crazy enough to do it, if you know what I mean. You have to have somebody who says, look, damn it, I'm going to take my fist, I'm going to pound on the table, and you're going to do it my way, or you're headed for the highway. And unfortunately, you'd say, wouldn't it be nice if we had somebody that dealt by the rules of the game? The old rules of the game aren't going to be enough to stop these people that are trying to destroy the United States.
Well, there are no more rules. That's what I see.
Well, that's the point. But, I mean, there is still a lot of decent people in this country who would like to play by the rules. But playing by the rules is enough to take us right down the rabbit